Okay, so one of the first questions I often get is, especially now, what does the new VA circular mean?
Okay. So basically, a VA circular is designed to be guidance to lending institutions, buyers, all that kind of stuff about their programs and things like that. And so here in the middle of August, the VA basically kind of came out and clarified their stance on secondary financing that would go in place behind the assumption of the first mortgage. That is kind of a huge topic in this industry. I mean, obviously, the main question I think I field, and probably you guys as well, is regarding the ability for somebody to finance the gap, which is the difference between the purchase price and the loan being assumed, which in what we see is averaging $50,000 plus. So it makes people have to have a lot of down payment to come in there. When we started doing this, kind of universally, it was something that servicers were not allowing, which was not allowing anybody to get a second mortgage to come up with the difference there in the gap. And as we started going forward in this process, we started to have some servicers say they would allow secondary financing of the gap, not all of them, and it kind of was at their discretion. But then that sort of got the brakes put on when, whether true or not, word got out that the VA, if secondary financing was going to be used, would like to see that financing be assumable as well, which didn't exist. There's no second mortgages in place that the financing was assumable. So that put the brakes on that market. And to date, we have not seen gap financing be a major player in the market of assumptions. Well, here we are, middle of August, VA comes out and basically says they do not have a problem with secondary financing as long as it doesn't affect the priority of the VA loan in terms of being a first mortgage. And basically, there's no major requirement that that funding be assumable. So what that means is now lenders are going to kind of have the ability to design a product that would work for gap financing. And that's very exciting because that can potentially bring a lot more people in there. Now, I can't speak to what the guidelines are going to be on those loans, whether or not they're going to be limited to a certain total LTV, like 90%, rates and stuff like that, what they're going to look like. This is just really taking place. But at the end of the day, buyers will probably be able to start getting this going forward. They're going to have to qualify with the blended rate of the two mortgages because the second mortgage will be significantly higher likely than the assumed first mortgage. And they're still going to probably have to have some skin in the game because I don't expect to see 100% financing on the total package. So that is the major change. We're very excited about it. We think it's going to grow this market quite a bit. So.
Yeah, and I would add is I agree. It's a really good thing for this niche in our industry, for the consumer, on both sides, buyers and sellers, because sellers should be able to get more attention, more buyers that are able to offer on their property too. So it's a win for both sides. On as far as interest rates though, you do have to remember, right, that on the secondary financing, those rates usually are going to be about 2 to 3 points higher. So if today's rate is 6%, just for easy math, you might be getting quoted 8%, maybe even 9% on that secondary financing, right? So just be aware of that. And the best thing to do, honestly, and I think what the game changer with this too is that the challenge up to this point is that when we work with consumers looking to buy properties with an assumable loan, we always want them to talk to one of our lenders anyway, right? To get pre-approved, to see where they can even fall in based on today's rates, and what do they qualify for? Because when we submit an offer, to a listing agent or the seller, they want to know that you at least are able to qualify for a loan, period, right? Then you're going to have to get qualified, of course, with the seller's servicer as well. However, what I'm getting at is that a lot of times when you were speaking to your lender and you mentioned the gap, they were like, whoa, we can't really help you there, right? If you were to tell them like, hey, I'm considering buying a property using an assumable loan. I also still want to get pre-approved because you never know, I might still buy traditionally. And can you help me with the gap financing if I go to assumable loan because I don't have $200,000 extra, right? And then that lender, their answer would have been, no, I can't help you because of what Craig mentioned. Well, now I would guess most lenders' answer now is going to be yes, I can help you, right? So that's a good thing because the same person you're speaking to in terms of your lender for a traditional purchase potentially is the same person that can potentially then give you the secondary financing as well, which is really good. It makes it a lot cleaner because you're not trying to talk to several different lenders as well. So
For sure.
All right. And I do have one more thing to add. Is it going to be even more common too to see the loan servicer offer that second lien because they already hold the assumable portion? Is that another avenue that buyers can explore?
I do think that will become an option for sure, and it might be a simplification tool to go that route. However, not all servicers are in the business of loan origination,
yeah,
right? A lot of them are primarily focused on servicing those loans. Oftentimes they may be servicing for a third party, or they may be buying loans on the secondary market that they just hold in service. Because loans ultimately can get bundled into mortgage-backed securities and all kinds of things of that nature. And some companies just exist to do the servicing. So,
Okay, great.
okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Randy and Craig, for joining us for this Q&A.